Well, happy Friday, everyone. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the webcast where I talk about WAFF's top stories before our evening newscast. Jumping right into it, today I am joined live with 48 Savannah Sapp. Savannah has been at the Morgan County Courthouse all day awaiting the gag order hearing for the former Decatur police officer charged with the murder of Steve Perkins, Mac Bailey Marquette. So Savannah, you are currently outside of the Morgan County Courthouse. Can you first talk a little bit about what you're seeing outside of the courthouse?
Yeah, AJ, I've actually been out here since about noon today. We were originally told that this gag order hearing would begin around 1:30 this afternoon. However, cases happening in the courtrooms on the floor where this hearing will happen have run over. So it's been a lot of watching and waiting as we just kind of get ready to get this thing going. I have just seen our other reporter, Daquan Lee. He has just gone into the courtroom at about 3:15, 3:20. So it has started very, very late. We do know that Mac Bailey Marquette is here. We have seen him walk into the courtroom. As far as what I've been seeing since I've been out here, I've seen a lot of Perkins protesters. They've been, really behind this case since it began, and they've been efforting a lot of demonstrations since it happened. So they're here, members of Standing in Power, and just overall supporters of the Perkins family. So it's, like I said, our reporter has just gone in. We don't really know a lot at this moment.
Right, and Savannah, could you just recap this case from September to now? What exactly brought us to this point that we're currently at?
Yeah, AJ, so at about around September 29, 2023, Steve Perkins was shot and killed in front of his own home here in Decatur. He was shot by Mac Bailey Marquette. There's been a lot of concern and questions about what happened that night. A lot of people have said that Decatur police officers did not act as they should have when responding to Steve Perkins' home. They were actually called to the residence by a tow truck driver. So that tow truck driver was attempting to repossess Steve Perkins' truck. The driver called police to the residence, and that is when the shooting took place. So that has sparked a lot of outrage in this community, as you could probably imagine. Anytime you have police involved in an officer-involved shooting, it sparks a lot of protests. It sparks a lot of interest and emotion. Since then, we have had the body camera footage of that night leaked. And again, you can imagine how hard that was for the family to experience and to see on news media platforms. And that has sparked the interest and the concern of attorneys here. District Attorney Scott Anderson has called for a temporary gag order to be placed on this case. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, the officer that is accused of shooting and killing Steve Perkins has been indicted for murder. And so District Attorney Scott Anderson has responded to the leak of that video with a temporary gag order, and that's what brought us here today. We are going to be hearing, hopefully today, if that gag order will become permanent. Like I said, things have been delayed, so it's really unclear if we'll get that answer today. There is over a dozen officers listed that have been subpoenaed for this hearing today, so it's unlikely that we'll get some sort of resolution to this, but we're going to stay on top of it. We've got 3 reporters here, myself, Daquan Lee, and 48's Matthew King. We're going to stay on top of this all afternoon and bring you guys the latest.
Well, Savannah, thank you so much. All right, let me...
Absolutely, AJ, thank you.
Awesome. So coming up in just a few minutes, WAFF will also be speaking with attorney Nick Law. So make sure you all stick around for the 4 o'clock newscast for the latest on that. And also another story that I want to mention. Let me pull up the correct clip for you all. So there.
That wasn't that bad, was it?
Forward.
Okay.
Audio. Sorry about that, y'all. There are a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back. So what we just heard right there is Savannah Sapp. She is outside of the Morgan County Courthouse awaiting the gag order hearing for Mac Marquette. The trial has been delayed quite a bit, so we are waiting for that to start off. But now out in Marshall County, 3 people are facing charges after trying to traffic drugs into Guntersville. So on May 6th, deputies arrested Ardarius Henderson, Christopher Rowe, and Najal Hill. And let me pull up a different graphic for you all right here. Right here. So I am going to show you the 3 who were arrested today. Now the 3, they were all charged with trafficking methamphetamine into Guntersville. And this is obviously a developing story, but make sure you all stick around for tonight's evening newscast for more on that. And the 3 have all been released on bond. And also in Huntsville, let me pull up that. So in Huntsville, the suspected shooter at the 708 Bar and Grill was arrested earlier last night. And just 3 hours later, he bonded out of the Madison County Jail. He's been charged with aggravated assault and accused of shooting 5 men at the club. And he bonded out just 3 hours later. So that is another story for you all. And let me pull up this next one. Hold on, bear with me for a second, y'all. I am going to take out this earpiece real quick. All right, so next story. So Hartzell, let me pull this up. But yes, so now in Hartzell, the graveside service for former Hartzell High School baseball coach William Booth, that funeral will be held tomorrow. It will be held at the Hartzell Memory Gardens at 2 p.m. Now, Coach Booth was the state's all-time most winningest baseball coach. Former Hartzell baseball player Jay Chittum, he described his former coach as a competitor who would never fail to challenge and even motivate his players. And we are going to listen to a little bit of what another one of his former players, Jay Hobbs, had to say about his former coach. So stick around 1 second for that.
It's great seeing these guys, everybody come out and support Hartsville baseball. You know, Coach Booth was just such a big influence to so many people, and he touched so many lives, not only in baseball, but in the classroom as well. He taught so many guys how to be young men and how to, you know, have good character, and just you know, it's sad that he's gone, but he's definitely left an impression on many young men.
Okay, plenty more.
It's great seeing these guys.
Yes, Coach Booth, he will be greatly missed. Baseball, you know, and also another story for you all. Let me pull it up. It's been well over a week since the storm swept through the Tennessee Valley. And some homeowners, they're still working to clean up all that damage that the storms made. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy, she recently spoke with a Huntsville homeowner. Her name was Susan Higgins, who said she was asleep when a large pecan tree toppled on top of her master bedroom. And here's what Higgins had to say about it. Let me pull that up right here.
It's kind of devastating. I mean, it's been our home here for about 12 years, and we love the house and we love the neighborhood. The ironic thing is we had another huge pecan tree in the backyard that we had just had taken down about 2 months ago because we were afraid it was going to fall on the house. So that one got taken down and this one came down.
And yep, again, that was Sarah Higgins. Pecan tree fell on her house. Very tragic stuff right there. And I am seeing a comment on Facebook right now. They didn't let you practice. Thank you for commenting, Jakari. Greatly appreciated. And let's move on to our next story. And you guys know what day it is. Today is Friday, And of course, that means that it is time for the latest Kitchen Cop scores here in the Tennessee Valley. And one of the businesses in this week's Kitchen Cops was actually shut down on spot when the inspector came in. So stick around for tonight's newscast. Kitchen Cops will be in the 4 o'clock show. This week's Kitchen Cops, you can also find it later on our website on WAFF.com. So make sure you all stay tuned for that. And you guys already know it is time for national news. And today the national story is Scottie Scheffler, the top-ranked golfer in the world. He was arrested this morning when he was on his way to the PGA Championship in Louisville. Now, according to police, a man who was later identified as a PGA vendor employee, he was killed in a fatal crash which involved a bus. Now, this caused traffic to be backed up in both lanes. Officials say that that was where Scheffler drove past that police officer while in his PGA-marked vehicle. The officer on scene yelled at him to stop as he grabbed onto his car. Scheffler, however, did not stop until about 10 yards later, and this injured the officer. Now, Scheffler was booked around 7:30 this morning, and he faced several charges such as second-degree assault of a police officer and, of course, reckless driving. But Scheffler, he was released, and he returned to the course around 9:15. So both Scheffler and his attorney, Steve Romes, they say that it was all a big misunderstanding. But that is the national story today. Let's go to our next story. And this is actually a few stories. These are the stories you're just not going to want to miss. Now, we'll be covering the top baby names in the state of Alabama. 48's Carl Prather, he will be live at state baseball. Pause for a Cause, that's going on tonight. And how boredom can sometimes be beneficial for your children. Those are all just a few stories you're just not going to want to miss, so make sure you stick around. And another thing you're not going to want to miss, you're not going to want to miss this weather forecast. And it was kind of a dreary day out here in Huntsville at least, but make sure you all stay tuned for tonight's newscast for a look at our latest forecast. Now you're probably asking, what can I do this weekend? Like, what's going on here in the Tennessee Valley? Well, there's a few things you could do. The Limestone County Sheriff's Rodeo is happening, as well as the Special Needs Rodeo. That is out in Limestone County. And earlier this week, I actually got to speak with Limestone County Sheriff Josh McLaughlin as he previewed the annual event. Sheriff McLaughlin, he said that rain or shine, he's ready to roll. So you better bet that the Limestone County Sheriff's Rodeo will be going on tonight as planned, rain or shine. And you can watch that full 48 Now interview with Sheriff McLaughlin on our digital shows 48 Now section of our website, WAFF.com. And some other things you can do this weekend. The Elkmont Spring Fest is going on, as well as the Mayor's Cup. So come on out to one of these events and just have yourself an awesome time. Now, if you are returning to Before the Four, you all know the drill, where we like to make it a little bit fun and interactive. I see one comment on here. You guys do not hesitate to comment on Facebook if you're watching at home. We like to make this Before the Four extremely interactive, and actually I am going to show you my new set. I wasn't able to start off this live stream showing you guys the new set, but we are doing some rearranging different pieces back here. So this is the current set, and it threw me off when I started today. I'm like, I'm used to being over there. I'm not used to being over here. So just wanted to show off the new set for you all. And yeah, it's getting exciting. A lot of stuff is changing back here with the 48 Now section of the station. So some exciting stuff going on. So let's go into Facebook fun. And as I was saying earlier, if you are returning to Before the Four, you know about Facebook fun. On our Facebook, we'll post different questions for you all, and you all typically respond very accordingly. And what was today's question. It is right here. Who do you think is the most overrated celebrity? You guys had your fair share of responses, and I come to find out you guys are not really fans of celebrities. There was a lot of mean comments on there, but let's see what the first celebrity, who y'all think is one of the most overrated celebrities. And Brian Carpenter, he says SpongeBob. I don't know if I agree with you right there, Brian. I don't think SpongeBob, he's a little overrated. He's only the most popular kids cartoon, at least of my childhood. Debatedly, just of all time, he's the greatest kids cartoon character. But Brian Carpenter says SpongeBob. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. But let's see what else. Liz Matthews said, everyone but Dolly. You know what? I respect that. Dolly is a queen, obviously a trailblazer in music. So, you know, I agree with you there, Liz. Everyone but Dolly. Okay. I think I can get behind that. And finally, the last comment that I would like to mention, Lavonda Satterfield, she said, kindness is free. You know what, Lavonda? That is the attitude to live by, honestly. That is a very good attitude to have. Kindness is 100% free. But if you guys commented on this, thank you so much. And you never know, if you comment on one of our posts, you could very well be featured on Before the 4 and 48 Now. But I appreciate you all for commenting and being part of Facebook Fun. And that is about all the stories I have for you guys. The big story, obviously, today is out in Decatur for this gag hearing for Mac Marquette. And that trial should be starting up pretty soon. So that is the biggest story of the day. So stay tuned for our evening newscast for that. Savannah's been out there. Daquan is out there. He is sitting in for the hearing. So stick around for that. Also, if you do not already have the 48 News app downloaded, make sure you download that, turn on those push notifications, and get the breaking news delivered directly to your phone. And also, whether it is still very much tornado season, make sure you get that 48 First Alert weather app and get all the breaking or get the latest forecast delivered directly to you. But with that, that is just about all the time that I have. That does it for Before the 4, but I want to thank you all for watching. And if you are returning for Before the 4, you know how I like to end this. Thanks for watching. You all have a great weekend. Have some fun this weekend, and stick around for the latest news from WAFF 48. But thank you so much.